Om Nilambujasyyamal Komalangam Sita Samaropita Vamabhagam Panau Mahasayaka Charu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. Erodations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, who is very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side, and he is carrying a powerful bow and arrow in his hands. This is Balakanda, verse number 31 onwards. Rama Katha Mandakini Chitrakuta Chittacharu Tulsi Subhaga Sanehaban Siya Raghubira Viharu. Tulsidaji says, this is still the prologue of the Ramayana. But you have to understand, prologue, the whole Ramayana, this conclusion, all this is a presentation of glory of God. Glory of God that inspires an aspirant to develop devotion. Devotion that's not ordinary, called Parabhakti. Devotion that recognizes that God is one and absolute. The real, and that Parabhakti is leading you to the effacement of your ego. And what is left is Brahman, the absolute. So it's important to understand whenever we say Ram, Ram, we are referring to Brahman, Brahman. But when you say Brahman, Brahman, your heart doesn't have any sense of love. Ram, Ram, you have a sense of love. And that love aspect has been enhanced in such a manner that you are led by that love to a state where ego diffuses, is effaced, and you are left with moksha, liberation. So, no matter in what stage of your mind you have, and whatever may be your attitude to God and to the world, when you begin with Ram, Ram, no matter in what stage, that Ram has created a divine potency. Millions of devotees have practiced japa of Ram, Ram. Next to Om, Ram is the most powerful mantra from the Vedas. Tulsidas ji says, Ram Katha is like the Mandakini river. It's a sacred river like Ganga river. And Nirmal Chitta, the mind that is free of malas, malos. Malas relate to mind being free of kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. Unburdening the mind of these impurities, then your mind called Nirmal Chit. Kabira man nirmal bhayo, jaise Ganga neer. The question, where is God? Where is God? I don't believe in it. And then comes a stage, I believe in him, but the moment I go there to see him, he runs away from me. Go to the Himalayas for the best of shrines, but already something has been rigged up. God runs away from the temple. And all you get is vexation, exhaustion. But Kabira man nirmal bhayo. But the very same mind, when it becomes nirmal, devoid of malas, jaise Ganga neer, just like pure Ganges water. Pache lage hari fire. That God, you don't have to run after him. He goes after you. He is the very reality of your existence. How can he run away from you? But in a poetic language, he is just after you. Lovingly, he is following you. Not only following you, but now and then calling you. Where are you going? Directing your steps in a profound way. Ramacharit Chintamani Charu Sant Sumatitiya Subhagasi Singaru Jagamangal Gun Gram Ram Ke Dani Mukuti Dhana Dharma Dham Ke. These are very profound literature, even from literary point of view. The story of Rama, known as Ramacharitmanas, Charitra of Rama. Charitra refers to the manner in which Rama conducted himself in different stages of his life. All that conduct, that's Ramacharitra. And if you have developed profound insight, the entire world is Ramacharitra. God is expressing his glory in all names and forms. All the illuminations on this earth are the glory of the sun. All your experiences through your mind, intellect, ego, and senses, all these experiences are the glory of divine consciousness, absolute consciousness. The absolute consciousness is like the sun. And all that you hold in your personality are illuminations. Ramacharit. You have two choices, Vishaya-charit and Ramacharit. Go on listening to these stories that come on your TV. The stories, news goes on breaking constantly. And be exhilarated by it, be burdened by it, thrilled by it, depressed by it. That's called vishaya-chintan. And even go into another level. You may not be looking into TVs, etc. But we're constantly involved with the world, getting into the company of people who give you a lot of gossips, and then examine the type of words and type of conversations that go on occurring from morning till evening. Go into another level. You may not be with people. You may not be looking into TVs, etc. But you are dealing with your mind. And the mind is creating its own stream of news, especially memories of the past, things you have heard from others, misunderstandings, worries about future, and many things, even just about when your physical problems, which are themselves boundless. So when your mind is immersed in all this, it is called vishaya-chintan. And what your project is to let your mind enjoy Ishwar-chintan, not vishaya-chintan. Ishwar-chintan, allow your mind to, as if you are in a house, closed up, and all that you have within the house are snakes, vultures, and pictures that horrify your mind. But instead, open your window and you begin to see swans soaring into the sky, peacocks beautifully unfurling their feathers, soft breeze, cool, gentle, and fragrant. In the same way, with vishaya-chintan, your heart closes. With Ishwar-chintan, your heart opens. And that movement from vishaya-chintan to Ishwar-chintan is a progressive movement. And it is for that purpose of Ishwar-chintan, here in Ramayana's words, Rama-chintan, Ramacharit Chintamani Charu, the story of Rama is beautiful Chintamani. Chintamani is a mystic jewel, a wish-yielding precious stone. People have always imagined there is some magical something. All that you have to hold it in your hand and say, I want whatever you want. You want a refrigerator. You want a beautiful garden. You want this or that, whatever you think of. And Chintamani at once gives you. The modern world has a fake Chintamani in the form of cell phones. You have all the information of the world right in your hand. But what your cell phone does, it monitors situations. It doesn't give you. It can tell you what is where, but it can't give you. But the divine name and Ishwar-chintan is not like cell phone. It gives you what you wish. But here again you have to understand in a proper way. If things are given to you exactly as you wish, you will be destroyed. So there is a controlling factor. Your worship, your sadhana enables you to switch from egoistic wish to divine wish. Even babies have their wishes. But their wishes will not be fulfilled. The mother observes. And if the wishes are good, the mother is pleased to give to baby whatever baby wants. But if the wish of the baby is to touch a flame, that will not be allowed. So that's the way Ramacharita operates. This is the kind of wish-yielding jewel, and it fulfills your subtle desires. It is the fulfiller of your deep-rooted urge. Every individual has threefold urge: to exist, to have all knowledge, and to be all blissful. Satchidananda. And when that fulfillment comes, that means you have attained self-realization. Sant Sumati Tiya Subhaga Singaru. Sumati is allegorically being described as a divine Devi, and she is the presiding deity of in the mind of all sages and saints. Santa Sumati. The understanding that dwells in the heart of all sages, that's called Mati, Sumati. But the understanding that stays in the heart of those who are not spiritually advanced, the understanding in people who have demoniac qualities, that's called Kumati, Sumati Kumati. Jaha Sumati, Daha Sampati Nana. Wherever there is Sumati, good understanding, there variety of prosperity will come to you. Sampati Nana. Jaha Kumati, Taha Vipati Nidhana. And wherever there is misunderstanding, absence of good understanding, that becomes a magnet to draw all types of miseries. Sumati draws all types of auspicious and really prosperous developments. Kumati, contrary. And this applies to every individual. If you are advanced, still you have to see the difference between Kumati and Sumati. Still you will be allowing the higher self in you to win over the lower self in different degrees. Some are dominated by their lower self. The question of fighting against it doesn't arise. In some, lower self is recognized as something demoniac, and you are busy trying to bring out the victory of higher self over the lower self. And this is in different degrees. Now, speaking poetically and allegorically, the Santa Sumati, that understanding that abides in the heart of a sage, is like a Devi. Ramacharit brings that Devi well decked with so many types of ornaments and beautifying objects. In other words, in simple words, if your mind begins to develop love for Ramacharit and you begin to enjoy a kind of a divine feeling of having darshan of Rama, enjoying Rama's victory over demons, or Rama's any movement, any aspect of Rama's story, then your Sumati in you begins to dance with good clothes and with wonderful ornaments, with rings, bracelets, and whatsoever. Jagamangal Gungram Rama ke. And it's the doer of good to the world. Ram, Gunagram Ram ke. Rama's virtues. If you recite them, if you allow those virtuous qualities of Rama to enter in your personality, you become like a blossom. And the fragrance that emanates from your blossoming heart, that fragrance brings about upliftment in countless people around you. Jag Mangal. The world becomes uplifted, is led to auspicious levels, and is the giver of mukti, liberation, Dhan, prosperity, and Paramdham, liberation. Paramdham is supreme abode. Three things, three words are used. Mukti is liberation. Dhan, prosperity. And Paramdham, synonymous with mukti. Paramdham, supreme abode. Supreme abode and liberation are one and the same. But when the scripture talks about wealth or dhan or prosperity, let me give you some detail about it. This relates to Ashtalakshmi. Lakshmi is the goddess of wealth. And she is a giver of wealth that is of 8 types. The first type of wealth is the green things, the dollars. Dhan. Next, dhanya, farm products. If you don't have food and you have all the wealth, what will happen? All the wealth means nothing. You can have all the greenery around you, but not even a plate of salad. Figure that out. And then, third type of Lakshmi is dhairya. Dhairya is patience. For attaining success in life, patience is needed at every step. You sow a seed, and you have to have patience now. Nourish it, wait, allow it to sprout. Can we sing a song to it? They sprout quicker. It is scientific. Even trees and plants enjoy positive vibrations. But that's another level of talk. But what I'm leading you to understand, that whatever you are, a project has started. It's like you have sown a seed and it is sprouting. Now you have to have patience to see that the project succeeds. And patience with faith in God. Not patience with a doubting mind. I'm going to watch for a year, and if it is not, then I'm going to abandon this project. So that's called dhairya, patience. Perseverance with patience. That's the subtle key to success. The next type of wealth, is vidya, knowledge. If you have all the wealth and you are illiterate, imagine what type of predicament you are in. You have all the wealth and you cannot communicate. You go to a market, you don't even know how to ask where cauliflower is. So, that's called knowledge. This knowledge is relative knowledge. Jai. Also, you must succeed. Success leads to success. You must be supported by experiences that have given you success. You must be supported by those situations where you have triumphed over your adversities. And one adversity, you triumph over it, and it becomes a footstep for triumphing over another adversity. And triumphing over adversity after adversity doesn't put your mind into a state of negativity. Rather, the mind becomes more and more joyous. Each time the moon emerges out of a dark cloud, it shines brighter. It's a poetic language. Next one is called virya. Virya means you have the strength, spiritual strength, to understand that in a more simple way. Say, for example, you want a lot of wealth, and suddenly you win a lottery. And someone comes to tell you that you have won a lottery. But you don't have the strength to bear with such a good news. And there is heart failure. These are very crude illustrations, but you have to understand sometimes adversity, prosperity, and higher stages of life, they all require strength. The next type of prosperity is called gaja, the old-time symbol for communications. The elephant was a royal, that was Rolls Royce of old time. In the modern world, figure it out. All types of communications. And final prosperity, eighth prosperity, saubhagya. Allow good karmas to back you up for your future prosperity. Let the future shine bright. No matter what might have been past, don't worry. Sadguru Jnana Virag Jog ke Vibudha Vaid Bhava Bhim Rog ke Janani Janak Siya Rama Prem ke Bij Sakal Vrat Dharam Name ke. Ramacharitra, this, all the great qualities of Rama, great attributes, great virtuous qualities, they are the promoter of Jnana. Jnana is knowledge of the self that gives you liberation. Vairagya. Vairagya is developing dispassion towards the world that is transient, detached from the world, attached to God. And Vairagya goes on giving you that insight. Jara mrityu janma mrityu jara vyadhi. These are the sources of pain. Janam, how you enter into the world, think of it. Mrityu, how you exit. These are not happy situations. Janma mrityu jara vyati dukkha doshanu darshanam. Mind, as it advances with its spiritual sensitivity, begins to work upon these terrible predicaments that every soul must experience if the soul is not enlightened. You're not enlightened, you are going to be born. And you are going to experience death. You will be also experiencing aging process, jara. Another thing, you don't have to wait until you age. Disease can make you bent-bodied, paralyzed bodies. That's called vyadhi, disease. Everyone is subject, every soul is subject to these. And these give boundless miseries. That understanding that your goal is not to stay in the world of time and space. That understanding is called vairagya, dispassion. And for treating the terrible disease of the world process, this Ramayana, the story of Rama, is like Ashwini Kumar. Ashwini Kumar is twin gods who are the source of, I'm talking from historical and mythical point of view. The Ashwini Kumaras are the source of Ayurveda, all the insight and the science of health and treating diseases. But this Ramacharita is a mystical doctor to treat the disease of the world process. To human mind, disease is that which affects your physical body and your mind. But from profound point of view, even if you are bodily very healthy and the mind is filled with vanity and like flamboyant type, that's a picture of health. Body happy, mind is also flamboyant. That's, from worldly point of view, you are wonderful health. From spiritual point of view, if you are laden with negative karmas, with good personality and good health, you have brought pain and bitterness in the heart of so many people, ruined so many lives. If you have done that, or whatever negative karmas you have done, that means you are not healthy. If you are really healthy, then you will live to help others. Be good and do good. That's the definition of health from divine point of view. If you are really healthy, then you will work against ignorance for attaining enlightenment. When you are enlightened, you are really absolutely healthy. Health term in Sanskrit called swastha. Swa means self. Stha, to stay in the self, to abide in the self. And Hindu culture is very profound. Even in day-to-day dealings with people, you meet a friend and you ask, are you swasth? What you are asking, are you abiding in the self? But in common language, it simply understood, are you healthy? And the person says, oh yes. So coming back to the topic, the real health is to abide in the self. And Ramayana is like that great doctor which treats every soul of the disease of the world process. And for awakening love for Sita Ram, Ramayana is like mother and father. Ramayana is the giver of nourishment and support. Mother gives all the nourishment to the baby. Father supports the baby. Ramayana gives you all that feeling aspect of stories that nourish your heart and insight into head aspect of your personality, how to understand, how to know. That's father aspect. The Ramayana provides the presence of mother and father in a very profound way. As you live your life, come to realize you are not able to draw nourishment from your relatives, near and dear ones. They may be all around you, but you are led by your own karma. And your inner problem, nobody knows, and nobody can cure it. But then, if you have been introduced to this spiritual culture of listening to Ramayana, reciting Ramayana, meditating on Rama, doing japa of your mantra, then, as if a mystical presence of mother and father has come to you, and it is a tremendous relief, and should believe in it. Because the ultimate relief comes from God within you. And that Godward movement is well brought out in the Ramayana. Bij sakal brat dharam nem ke. And all the religious observations, disciplines, restraints. Every religion has so many restraints, so many observations, so many vratas. Ramayana is the very seed, the source of all disciplines, etc., etc. In other words, any discipline you practice for spiritual advancement, if love for God is not there, and love for God is the central theme of Ramayana, if love of Rama is not there, love for God is not there, then all your disciplines they will lead you to some advantage, but it will be transient. It will not be of profound nature. Without Rama, all things are in vain. Sabana papa santap sog ke, priya palak paralok lok ke, sachiva subhat bhupati vichar ke, kumbhaj lobha udadi apar ke. And this Ramayana, listening to it, studying it, meditating upon Ramayana, doing japa of Rama, all that implies study of Ramayana. What does this study do? It destroys pap, sinful karmas. A mind that enjoys love for God cannot become the source of negative karmas. Samanapa. Otherwise, everyone goes on creating karmas helplessly. You never know. But whatsoever you are, the manner in which you live your life day by day, though you are not doing anything to your knowledge, but simply sit down and reflecting upon the miseries you have suffered from, counting the enemies that you have encountered in your life. I'm just giving you one aspected thinking, giving you simple allegorical language. You are creating karmas. Your karmas never stop. But if you are filling your mind with love of God, allowing your mind to taste the joy of devotion, surrender, satsanga, then by very nature, your conscience will not allow you to do sinful activities. Rather, you will be delighted by doing magnanimous things. Opportunity for being charitable, you will consider God-given opportunity. You will thank God that has allowed you to be charitable. That type of meditation develops. And if that has developed, dharma has become, instead of papa, another word for opposite of papa is punya, pap, punya. Dharma, adharma is another, so these are all synonyms. Pap and adharma, punya and dharma, they are synonymous words. So instead of being involved in papa karmas, sinful karmas, become involved in good karmas, punya karmas. Punya karmas give you opportunity for turning your mind to God. Pap karmas give you opportunity turning your mind to hell. One is leading to degradation, and degradation is also vast range of degradation. Punya karma gives you upliftment, that also is vast range of upliftment. Your goal is even beyond punya karmas, neither degradation nor upliftment in the world of time and space. Your goal is transcending the world, not to do anything with the world. That's called liberation, moksha. Realizing I am not the body, I am not the mind, not the senses, not the intellect, not the ego. Not. When you enter into deep sleep, that's what happens. You have knotted out these body, mind, intellect, ego, and you are perfectly at rest. And you are well nourished. When you wake up, you are recharged with energy. That gives you a sample. And towards that sample, you are led by your sadhana. If you do japa, meditation, listen to satsanga talks, and watch your mind then becomes more nourished than if you had watched a terrible horror story, or even ordinary stories of just meaningless values. So Ramcharitmanas, the study of Ramayana and love for Rama, destroys all sinful karmas. Consequently, it frees your mind of santap. Santap means worry, grief. Santap is distress. Shok is grief. Pap, santap, shok. Sinful karmas are prevented. Thereby, you don't develop a stressful mind. And therefore, you don't grieve. The mind remains relaxed, enjoying divine presence. It is a process of joy and ecstasy and samadhi. And it is the doer of good in this loka and paraloka, what they term as here and hereafter. Movement on the spiritual path, following the path of Rama Bhakti, devotion to God. If you live that life, your life is going to be unique. You'll be enjoying peace, profound love, inner glory. Life will shine in this world. And after You depart from your body, your soul is enfolded by God, and that state will become your reality. In other words, you attain moksha. In simple term, Rama Katha, devotion to Rama, is the giver of bhakti and mukti, devotion and liberation. Put in another way of saying, it gives you bhoga and apavarga. Bhoga, enjoyments in the world, sattvic enjoyments, real joy. And apavarga, the hereafter. Hereafter means the absolute liberation. काम कोह कलिबल करिगन के हरि सावक जन मन बन के अतिथि पूज्य प्रियतम पुरारी के कामद घन दारिद दवारी के. Rama Katha, the stories of Rama, the different episodes that you hear and you hold in your mind, they are compared to lion cubs. The sinful karmas that you have created on the basis of kama, krodha, malas, which I have again and again described how kama is perverted pleasures, krodha, anger, lobha, greed, kam, krodha, lobh, moha is delusion, mada is conceit, matsarya is jealousy. These are the highlighted points. If they go on staying within your heart, your mind is gripped by Kali Yuga. And this Kali Yuga aspect is just like a mind is a kind of a forest. And all these sinful qualities, they are like elephants. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, they are the elephants wandering in this forest of your mind. But when you study the scriptures and bring to your mind many episodes related to Rama, all those episodes are like lion cubs. Now you can well understand. When elephants see lions, they run in spite of their big bodies. They tremble. So all sinful karmas that your mind is indulging in, they will tremble, they will run away if you go on thinking of glory of God and recognizing the glory of God operating through the world. It's God who is shining through the sun, sends nectar to the moon, blows as breeze, giving you life-giving oxygen. And all things of this world, behold the lilies of the field, how do they grow? So study of Ramayana implies developing that type of vision. The whole world is Ramamaya. Siya Ram May Sabajag Jani. Knowing the entire world to be filled with Rama and Sita. Karau Pranam Jori Jugapani. With folded hands, I adore all. When you develop that type of meditation and begin to enjoy a different type of inner peace, it's called rasa, a divine mystic taste. Your soul is led to magnanimous heights of spiritual attainment until you attain liberation. Rama is adored even by Shiva. Shiva is another aspect of God. In this context, Shiva is Saguna Brahman. Brahman, the absolute self, is Rama. Many concepts of God are like, they are called Saguna Brahman. And mystically, Sagun Brahman offers adorations to the Absolute Self. So Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, they are all shown adoring Rama. And Ramcharitmanas is swarthy clouds that rain down as fulfillment of desires. Or rather, the actual language here is rain, that rain extinguishes the fire of poverty every human being is suffering from, as if he is caught in a forest fire, known as Dawanal. What does that imply? Every soul has the potentiality to discover, I am Satchidananda, I am Brahman. But instead of that, every soul is clinging to the idea, I am this body. That's my house. Nobody should get into it. This type of vision is called poverty. This is also known as miserly vision. As long as you have this vision, you are poor. Not the mystic ideal poverty. This is the troublesome poverty. Rama Katha removes this poverty. And you come to realize you can fulfill all your desires. Not a single desire will be left unfulfilled if you follow the path, attain liberation. Otherwise, in this world, one desire is fulfilled, another waits to be fulfilled. And the process of fulfilling desires, you see so many of your desires crushed. And you face frustration after frustration. With this, I will conclude for now. Om Shri Ramaya Namah, Om Shri Ramaya Namah, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.